Good morning! Should we make sure they're working? Hallelujah! Christ has risen! He is risen indeed! Hallelujah! If anyone else would like a ribbon wand, you are more than welcome to have one. I have plenty. Please help us spread the good news. Happy Easter, beloved church! I'm so grateful to be here with you this morning. I'll admit, I have preached hundreds of sermons, but I have never preached on Easter before. I've always been an associate pastor, so associate pastor Sunday is next Sunday, when the senior pastor is usually out of town, on Easter break. But I'm sort of a little nervous, actually. That hasn't happened to me in a long time. So I'm really excited. This is my first Easter sermon, and I get to do it with all of you. So resurrection. Life in the place where we expect death to be. Jesus defeating death. That is why we are here today. This is the heart of our faith. And I actually think it is one of the first things I learned to believe in when I became a Christian. I actually think it's one of the easiest things to believe in. If we're cynical enough, we can explain away the signs and miracles and wonders if we really try. We could put it down to science or trick of the light or some other explanation. But resurrection, that is something we can see and feel and experience for ourselves here and now. This is a truth that God has told creation, that nature has believed since creation began. And today we are catching up, we humans are catching up to the truth that creation has always known. We're catching up to this truth, and we get to realize resurrection is for us, too. If you need proof, is it almost a cliche? Go look at the cherry blossoms. You did not prepare me appropriately for how glorious they are. I don't think you can say, I am going to see the cherry blossoms. No. You have to say, I am going to experience the cherry blossoms. They are a wonder. My family and I have never seen them before. For weeks we have heard that they're coming. They're going to reach their peak. I've pictured that there is a meteorologist dressed in a fashionable pink suit, boy or girl, who gets to just spend 2 months focused on cherry blossoms. That's all they do, is predict when the peak is coming. I didn't even know how to tell what trees were cherry blossom trees. We got here in October. Everything was either dying or already looked dead. So one cloudy day, as I was walking to the boys' school, we have to walk across the University of Tokyo campus. And I remember I was deep in thought, and I happened to look up. And I said, wait a minute. Those are cherry blossoms. This canopy of trees that I had walked under for 5 months, just thinking they were trees, in 2 days had exploded into glory. Like a crowd opening their umbrellas. Suddenly, it was like what I imagine walking through heaven was like. It was extraordinary. I never would have guessed this ordinary, almost boring walk we have to school would have been the place that felt like walking through glory. And you knew it was coming. You knew this was going to happen if you've lived in Tokyo long enough, or Japan long enough. But how did you know? How did you know that was going to happen? Did you ever doubt that they would come back? That's Sacha, our youngest, favorite question. How do you know? How do you know they're coming? Because it has never yet failed to come, right? Spring has never once failed to come. It has always followed winter since the beginning of creation. And as one of my new favorite Christian songs goes, if the daffodils have resurrected, why shouldn't we be resurrected too? The stories that bookend our year as Christians are Advent and Easter. I love the story of Advent. It's beautiful. Emmanuel, God with us. It tells us clearly who God is. But Maundy, Thursday, Good Friday, and Easter, they tell us what God is here to do among us. I like the story of Advent. I love it even. But I don't know if I need the story of Advent the way I have needed Easter these days. It's possible to spend every minute of our day inundated by news, right? There's this little rectangle that you can hold 6 inches from your face if you're blind like me, and you can just scroll through horrible news. Horrific stories from around the world brought to you in milliseconds. And you can do this every minute of your day if you choose. And I wonder if we realize how much that affects us, how deeply it affects us. To have access to what is usually stories, not always, but usually stories of death and death-dealing things. We live a lot of our lives brushing up against death, don't we? Community violence, domestic violence, war, environmental degradation, illness, poverty, apathy, cruelty, and that's just what's in the headlines. That's just on the front page. What about the death and death-dealing things in us? What about the shame and the anger, the doubt, the selfishness or self-righteousness? What about the pride? About the sin that clings to us and tries to make its home in us and tug us little by little away from God and into death? It'll try. It'll try to tug us away, and it'll fail. But that doesn't mean the in-between time is pleasant. Here we have arrived. This is the heart of our faith. This is that sacred place where death and life meet. And as we proclaimed on Ash Wednesday, we know the truth. We know what happens the closer you get to the cross. We know what happens the closer you get to the tomb. We know what is waiting for us behind the stone. How do we know? Because this is what God does. This is how it always has been. I've debated whether to include this line, and I think I just will. Jesus came to chase money changers out of the temple and to save us with his love poured out in grace on the cross. And he's all out of money changers. It's time to save us from ourselves. Today we join the Marys at the tomb. And before they even get close, heaven bursts into reality, causing an earthquake. This is the only gospel where an earthquake happens when heaven bursts through into our reality. An angel appears to roll away the stone, and I love this next detail. Immediately after rolling the stone, the angel sits on the stone. It reminded me of all the times as a teenager that I would try to perch on the edge of the counter, and my mother would say, "Up, get down." God has so little regard for death. Maybe this is how it has always been. Humans are just a little late to catch up to the truth. So little regard that God's angel sits on the stone of death. And the angel beckons the Marys forward, and they peer into the tomb. I love this part, that the angel invites them to look into the place of death. While God might not have much regard for death, Jesus understood firsthand how much sway it has over us. And so God's messenger invites them to come and see. Come see, it's empty. Like when a child asks a parent to look under my bed. Is there anything there? No, it's empty. It's gone. As one day all places of death will be. And then the angel tells them to go, and I love this part too. We read that they have fear and great joy. Have you ever felt joy like that? Where it is so full in your heart, it's almost scary. Because joy of that magnitude and that size, the world seems determined to tear it down, but it is beautiful and it is the essence of life. And the Marys have it with fear of joy. Afraid to be joyful, but being joyful anyway, they go. This has been true for all creation. The tomb is empty. Resurrection is here. For all of creation everywhere is singing this praise every spring. And this truth is for you also. Resurrection has happened not because we have it all together or because we're prepared, not because we're even remotely ready, but because this is what God has always done. Resurrection might feel far away from you sometimes, and that's okay if that's where you're at today. The truth is that sin and death happen in our lives. The horrors persist as they always have. Now more than ever, maybe. But what is different for us as Christians is we know this is not the end. Resurrection isn't just some earth-shaking event that happened once 2,000 years ago. And if you need help seeing the truth of this, just look to the wisdom of the cherry blossoms, to the knowledge contained in butterflies with wet wings, and grass poking up through the tracks of the train where it shouldn't be possible to grow. It's as real as anything, as letting go, as forgiveness and mercy and kindness. You don't need to be ready. You don't even need to not be afraid. It's enough just to be, to walk this line between death and life, and know that God is walking with you. The daffodils have resurrected too. Why not you? Why not today? Why not now? As the angel proclaimed, he is not here. He is not in this place of death. Death is defeated, and how do we know? Because it has always been. It always will be. Just look at creation bursting to life around you. Spring always comes. Death cannot win. It can rage and roar around us, but heaven makes the earth quake. Green shoots are springing up in the most unlikely places. And Jesus has gone ahead of us to gather all people unto himself. Don't be afraid, dear one. He has been raised just as he said. Alleluia! Praise be to God. You may remain seated as our bells play our Easter hymn. At this time, we will also collect our offering. If you have an offering to share, know it is an invitation. It is never an obligation. Thank you for supporting ministry and mission at Tokyo Lutheran Church.